I had a creepy encounter while babysitting. For a little bit of context, I'm a 21-year-old female, a college student, and have been babysitting since I was 14. I'm not an expert on literally anything. However, over the years I have learned caution and resilience. At age 15, I took babysitting classes at our youth center, as well as a female self-defense course, so I babysit at least once a month for this one family. I like them because they pay me more than my usual hourly rate. They have a big house with internet that I can use to do homework, and the two kids are surprisingly well behaved and compliant. So the two parents have like a monthly ritual of going out around 5 p.m. and returning a little after 2 a.m. I'm always offered to sleep in the guest bedroom and stay until morning. I usually just stay awake and abuse their satellite TV and then leave when they come back. The house is in a nice neighborhood without a whole lot of neighbors, very quiet. Also, their house is armed with an alarm system that I have the code to and can arm and disarm it through my phone. That'll be relevant in a little while. So I always take them for pizza at this place, and that has like an arcade. I do this so that they tire themselves out and go to bed early. Plus, the little girl that I babysit is also on a mission to win a family of stuffed animals from the prize store. So I'd be the world's worst babysitter if I didn't guide her in the pursuit. If anyone's wondering for whatever reason, after Friday night, she only needs the daddy's stuffed animal before her collection's complete. Anywho, I was sitting at a table and watching them play in a ball pit while also texting on my phone. This couple came over and sat at the same table as me. It was a long table with parents scattered here and there, so this wasn't alarming. The couple looked normal enough. Both were probably in their mid-20s, possibly a little older. They talked to each other, but then the guy asked me, "Are you the one babysitting Dr. So-and-so's kids?" So the parents of these children are both doctors, and the specific region that we live in, this would be common enough information. But I still chose to answer their question with an irrelevant statement. "I wonder what they used to make the pizza here." Yeah, I know, I'm a master of deception. I deserve an Oscar for my performance. However, they seemed right through my clever ruse. They started making weird comments. They talked about the kids' parents, they commented on the daughter, and how they wondered if she would look as pretty as their mom. Okay, my dudes, I don't know if that was intended to be creepy, but I'm just going to be safe and pretend that it was. Then the woman says to me, and I quote, "Do they really let you dress like that while watching their kids?" She motioned with her eyes towards my t-shirt, which was admittedly a little tight, though aside from a little bit of bosom crack, not revealing. I have a thin frame and a large chest. It's 90 degrees in my region of the US right now, so it's not like I can wear a hoodie, and my boobs have a Crips and Bloods type of relationship with any kind of shirt that has buttons. I saw that as my cue to go and get the kiddos and bring them to get their prizes so that we could bounce. After some very thought-provoking and philosophical debating, they both got their prizes and we headed back over to the house. So fast forward a few hours, both kids were bathed and put to sleep. I delivered the heartwarming rendition of Goodnight Moon and read a very spooky chapter of The Werewolf of Fever Swamp and tucked them into dreamland. It was around 9 p.m. I was caught up on homework and was just watching TV when I heard some movement on the porch. I didn't think much of it at first, but the doorknob started rattling violently. I initially started moving towards the front door to see who it was, but miraculously, I remembered that it was late at night. I was home alone with two kids and I very much wanted to live. I turned around to grab my purse, which is where I keep my taser. As I'm moving, the back door starts rattling as well, and was accompanied by some banging noises. That's when I remembered that I hadn't enabled the alarm system after returning. Now, if this was a horror movie scenario, of course the alarm wouldn't have worked, and the intruders would have made their way inside. I hate to disappoint if you were expecting something more exciting, but I enabled it again, quite easily with no incident. I ran upstairs and grabbed the two kids. I put them in their parents' room in the walk-in closet. I still hate that I scared them. When I gathered them up, I gave no context as to what was going on. I didn't want to tell them that someone was trying to break into the house, but in the process, the fear of not knowing seemed to be worse. I instructed them to stay in there and stay quiet, and only to open the door if they hear me talking to them. I then locked the bedroom door, which is the only door on the upstairs floor that locks. I sat there with my taser out and hit the panic button on the phone app. Several minutes went by. Then I got the notification through the app that the alarm system was disabled. I planned on calling 911, even though the panic button already took care of that. But I found it more beneficial to arm it back. Then it disarmed again, so I armed it again. Then it disarmed once again, so I armed it once again. By this time, I could hear what sounded like two sets of footsteps walking up the stairs. Good job, girl. You locked yourself inside with two potential assailants. I was holding it together for the sake of the kids. I was scared to death. When I heard the footsteps get near the door and saw the doorknob twisting, I took a deep breath and pulled the trigger on my taser, just to let them know that I was armed, though it realistically wouldn't do much good. I informed them through the door that the alarm was triggered and police were on their way. Thankfully, I was greeted by a familiar voice. I opened the door and ran into their arms and started sobbing. I hadn't realized truly until it was over just how scared I really was. The kids came out without me giving them the okay, but their parents were there, so I'll let it slide. When I enabled the alarm on my phone, they both got the notification from the place they were at. With the app, you have the option to view the porch cameras as well. When they got the notification that the panic button was activated, they saw through the camera that there were people on each side of the house. One man, one woman. When the alarm kept disarming, that was them trying to get into the house. Police report was filed by them and gave a statement mentioning the two weirdos I met earlier that day. Even though there was really no evidence that would directly point to them, camera footage didn't give any positive face IDs either. So yeah, I was scared. I'm getting over it now. I'm just grateful that the couple that I was babysitting for were close enough to make it to me. I hate to say it, but I find the police response time to be terrible. I'm just glad they had proper protection in their home and that this didn't end up to be any worse. In summer of 2012, when my mom was 30, she had the habit of jogging late at night on the track in the forest. Our town is small, considered safe, and it's a big tourist destination. The track in the forest is illuminated by streetlight and it's visible in the front and back, but sides are full of trees and it's completely black when it's dark. She was jogging one night, as usual, but got scared without any reason and it felt like she was being watched or followed. She continued jogging for a few more minutes, but heard something behind her and turned around to see what it was. She saw a pair of jeans in the middle of the track. She immediately ran away, got in the car and got home. 2 days later, the body of a 31-year-old Mexican woman was found, shallowly buried and covered with branches in that same forest. The murderer sliced her throat so bad he almost decapitated her. It was all over the news. He got caught, but he's out in 2027 because he pleaded not guilty. To this day, I can't believe my mom's gut feeling saved her from a murderer. About 10 years ago, I was walking my beagle on a beach. It was early in the morning and no one was there except a person all dressed in black, who was walking towards us quite a bit ahead. My dog was the friendliest little guy and totally loved all people equally. In fact, I used to say that his only downfall was that he loved everyone else in the world as much as he loved me. Well, not this man. As we got closer to him, the man changed his trajectory so he was coming closer to us. I thought he just wanted to pet my dog. I'm a dog person and I get that. But as he started to approach us, my dog started to bark and lunge at this man, but he was still approaching. That's when I saw that he was wearing a white mask. Every hair in my body stood up. I turned so I was closer to the water because it seemed safer than being next to the dunes. And this man turned around and followed us with my dog still straining in the leash, snarling and growling. Then I turned back towards where I had parked and he started laughing manically and calling out really crude things. Just then, I saw a couple off in the distance. I picked up my dog and ran as fast as I could to where they were. I explained that the man behind me was creeping me out and asked if they would walk me back to my car, which they were happy to do. When I told them about the mask, they decided to leave too. I never took my dog for an early morning beach walk again. I just know that that man was pure evil.